This is the Westinghouse WG9500 dual-fuel home backup portable generator. I just wanted to share my experience with this in case anyone else is considering it, because I have actually been living with it through real outages and a lot of regular use. I bought this generator because I wanted something that could keep the house running during storms without turning every outage into a stressful project. If you are in a place where the power goes out a few times a year, or you have a well pump, a sump pump, a freezer full of food, or you work from home and cannot afford to be offline, this kind of generator is for you. I also use one at a farm setup, and that second use case really taught me what matters and what does not when you are depending on it. What makes this one different for me is the dual fuel setup and the way starting it fits into daily life. I like having the option to run gasoline or propane. Gasoline is easy to find, but it goes stale. Propane stores cleanly, and I can keep a couple of tanks ready without worrying about rotating fuel. In an outage, that flexibility takes a lot of pressure off. I do not have to build my whole plan around one fuel type. On the physical side, it feels like a serious piece of equipment. It is not something you casually carry around. The frame is sturdy, and it has the kind of weight where you understand why it comes with wheels. The handle folding down matters more than I expected, because storage space is always tighter than you think, especially if you want to keep it somewhere dry and accessible. The wheels have been fine on pavement and packed gravel. In softer ground, I still have to pay attention and pull it like I mean it. It is manageable, but it is not effortless. The front panel layout is straightforward, and that is important when you are tired. It is dark, and the weather is not cooperating. The outlets are spaced in a way that lets me plug in thicker cords without fighting for room. The rubber covers are not glamorous, but they keep water and dirt from sitting in the sockets while it is outside. I have had it running in ugly weather, and those little covers are part of why I do not worry as much about the panel getting soaked. I still keep it under a canopy and I keep the exhaust pointed away, but the panel protection helps. Starting is one of the things I appreciate most. Mine has electric start with a battery, and it also has a remote start. In a real outage, remote start is not a gimmick. If the generator is staged outside in a safe spot, I can start it without walking out into rain or snow just to get power going. I have still had moments where I went outside to check on it, but being able to start it from inside has been genuinely useful. The battery will not last forever, though. If you let it sit for a long time without charging, you can end up with a dead battery when you need it. I keep a small charger on it occasionally, especially during storm season, and that has prevented most headaches. Setup was not complicated, but I do recommend doing it on a calm weekend instead of during an outage. I had to add oil, check everything over, and run it for a while to make sure it was behaving normally. Connecting propane is simple in practice, but I learned to take my time with the regulator connection and to listen for leaks. I do a quick smell check, and I use a soapy water test when I swap tanks. That is a 1-minute habit that makes me feel a lot better about running it near the house. Day-to-day use is mostly about routine. I roll it out, set it where it can breathe, connect the cords or connect it to my transfer setup, start it, and then bring loads on gradually. That gradual part matters. I try not to slam it with everything at once. I will start with the essentials, then add the next big item, then the next. When I do that, it feels steady and predictable. In real outages, I have run a mix that looks like a normal household trying to stay comfortable. Refrigerator, freezer, a few lights, internet gear, phone chargers, and sometimes a microwave for short bursts. I have also run power tools off it when I needed to clear debris after storms. It has handled those kinds of loads without drama as long as I am reasonable about what is running at the same time. The bigger thing for me is that it does not feel fragile. It feels like it is built to sit there and work. Fuel runtime depends on what you ask it to do, so I do not obsess over exact hours. What I can say is the larger tank means I am not babysitting it every couple of hours. On moderate loads, I can get through a long stretch without refueling. On heavier use, I still plan my day around refueling safely, letting it cool a bit, and not rushing. With propane, the planning is different. I watch the tank level and I keep a spare ready so I am not scrambling. Swapping tanks is cleaner than dealing with gasoline, especially at night. Noise is the main trade-off. It is not silent. It is a generator. From inside the house it becomes background, but outside you know it is running. I placed mine to balance safety, distance, and sound. If you put it right outside a bedroom window, you are going to hate it. If you can place it farther away while still keeping cords and the setup safe, it is much easier to live with. I also like having simple monitoring on the unit. A voltmeter and a fuel gauge sound basic, but during an outage those are the things I actually look at. I check voltage, I check fuel, I listen to the engine note, and I keep an eye on the load. That is my routine. If something changes, I want to notice it early. Maintenance has been straightforward. Oil changes are not hard, but you do need to treat it like an engine, not a magic box. I check oil level regularly, especially during longer runs. I keep spare oil and a funnel with the generator. I also look over cords and connections because heat and vibration are real. I have not had trouble finding parts or information, and the manual was clear enough to follow without guessing. A realistic limitation is that it is large and it takes up space. If you live in an apartment or you do not have a good outdoor spot to run a generator safely, this is not going to solve that problem. Another limitation is that electric start depends on a healthy battery, so you have to maintain that battery. And like any portable generator, you need a plan for safe operation, carbon monoxide risk, and proper connection to your home. I use a transfer setup for household circuits, and I do not backfeed through a random outlet. If you are not already set up, talk to an electrician. It is not the fun part, but it is the part that keeps you safe. Overall, my impression after living with it is that it does what I bought it to do. It starts reliably when I maintain it. It runs the important stuff in my home without feeling like it is on the edge. Dual fuel has been practical, not just a checkbox. And the remote start has made bad weather outages less miserable. If you have been on the fence about a portable home backup generator and you want something you can actually use in normal life, this one has worked well for me, with the usual responsibilities that come with owning a generator. If this video helped, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with your setup and what you are trying to power during outages. Thank you for watching.